Right, 10 records. 10 records that changed my life. Well, it's tempted to say loads of early records here that I learned that I listened because, but if I say like the first couple of albums that I listened to, that really made a big impact on me, Hawkwind, Space Ritual, Tangerine Dream, Encore, and Jimi Hendrix, Are You Experienced? They changed my life. Well, not really, because I was like under 7. So what was my life? It wasn't like I was on this dead set course anyway. So I'm not going to include those. Huge influences on me, but they didn't really change my life. I think the first album to actually change my life, a lot of people who played metal of my age are going to say Rain in Blood. So Rain in Blood, because I was sort of influenced mainly by punk when I was younger, and alternative music and things like that. And I still love all of these bands like The Cult, Susie and the Banshees, Bauhaus, and Cocteau Twins and things like that. I do love it, but I was getting into stuff that was noisier and heavier. My brother had the first Jesus and Mary Chain album. Of course, it was all feedback all the way through it, and I was thinking, this is great, all that. And and then my mate running around with just that solemn look on his face. You have to listen to this album. What is it? Slayer, Rain in Blood. Metal. Oh, I don't like metal. Put it on. A couple of seconds in. Wow. And it was all the focus of bands that I'd liked that were focused. It had more focus than them. I love guitar. I love mad, wild, all over the shop guitar playing, Jimi Hendrix and all that. And it just sounded like Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman had just taken like 20-minute Hendrix insane jams and just like turned them into a 10-second solos and like bang on. And then all the evil lyrics were great because I totally believed it was all real when I was younger. So we got a lot of mileage out of that. And then it was like 20-minute song, bam, 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 bam. Back then, when I used to write songs, I could only write songs at about a minute and a half because I didn't have the stamina to play longer than that. So to hear an album where it was all the way through, great, And even now when I make music that doesn't sound remotely like Rain in Blood, you've just got to think, you put Rain in Blood on and it just goes from beginning to end with no let up. You wait the first second, you're going to wait the whole 28 minutes. You like the first second, you're going to like the next 28 minutes. Just a simple walloper, it's great. And it's a dad album now, which is even funnier. Right, number 2 thing that changed me. Within the realm of a dying sun, Dead Can Dance. Not metal, devastatingly heavy, dark, extreme. And it was, I think, the first album that really made me think, wow, these are the moods I want to create. This is the musical scope I want to have. And the only tool that I had at the time able to do anything with was a fucking distorted guitar that wanted it to sound like Rain in Blood. So it really made me, right, I'm going to have to learn to sing. I'm going to have to learn other things. Perhaps I'm going to have to try and write some music that doesn't have distortion on it. Perhaps I'm going to try and not be Jeff Hanneman all the fucking time. So and that's still one of those devastatingly heavy albums. I can't even hear it all the way through. It's so extreme. And it's interesting because I remember hearing that and thinking, having that revelation myself. But then if you look into the decent music that happened in the 90s with metal, and stuff like Emperor and, all that atmospheric dark music that was coming out that was good. And I'll bet you fucking 10p that they had Dead Can Dance and was like, had the same revelation. But in my bedroom, I went, that was a good idea, and didn't do anything about it. Whereas they went and did something about it. And are rightly legends. Thank you. Right, third album that made an absolute change on me, Future Sound of London, Life Forms. I mentioned earlier that Tangerine Dream, Encore was one of my first ever albums I loved, big influence. Electronic music, and I always wanted to make electronic music as well as guitar music. I started off electronically on a wee keyboard, then on a Commodore 64. And what has always been the battle, and I think I've done it probably the best I've ever done it on my new album, Unrelaxed, is try and put the two together. But rather than it be like rock, but with Ming and Whitesnake keyboards on it, or I'm not talented enough to be a John Lord keyboard. I'm looking for some sort of keyboards to go on it, and it's always been. I think what got it for me was the Future Sound of London was completely ambient, and it wasn't like music on itself. It was just like this electronic ambience, and that in itself has influenced me when I make music electronically to stick like almost make an electronic ambient version of the album on top of the guitar album and sort of mix them together rather than have a band with the riffs and then there's the keyboard bit. Because a lot of the songs when I do them live with Tommy Concrete and the Werewolves, we don't have any of the keyboards on it or any of that because that's production. Future Sound of London. There we go. I'm going to rattle through these because otherwise I'll be here for bloody all time. Changed my life. Ooh, we're going to go back and have an early one. Motorhead, Bomber, for sure. I remember distinctly I was sitting at home listening to Adam and the Ants album on tape, Kings of the Wild Frontier or something, thinking, hey, it's great. And then my brother's pals come in. I looked at it and was like, give me that tape and I'll bring it back better. So I give him it and he brought it back the next day and he recorded over it with Bomber. So my first copy of Bomber actually had Adam Ants, well, Kings written on it, but it was Bomber. And it was such a journey lyrically for me as a kid. It was so visual, you know, stuff like Lawman, ooh, it's against the police, ooh, anyone that needs a book is a fool. And I love the way he said book. So, you know, the sharpshooter, yeah, and all that. I like war films. There's snipers that's against the police, you know, there's don't listen to the news, talking heads, Bomber, you know what I mean? It was great. It was like having a conversation with somebody that's watching a World War II film and he's flicking between the news and World War II on the telly. And when he's on, you know, sometimes you've got Bomber and Sharpshooter on that, then he turns it over and it's the news and there's some bullshit. And then Lemmy turns to you and he goes, don't listen to any of that shit that they're fucking telling you. Yeah, don't listen to newsreaders, don't listen to the bloody religion sort of crap. And then he gets fed up with his politics and he sticks it back on and the sharp, you know, it's great, it's weird, I love it. But it's like, when I put Bomber on, it's like, here we go, this is what it's really about. This is what, you know, as much as I will change as a musician and talk about mixing Future Sound of London with Slayer and all that, at the end of the day, it's Bomber, what I'm trying to do. Yeah, so it changed my life in the sense that I could have been Adam and the Ants, but I had to go into proper music instead. Thank you. I don't know why I'm at. I said 3 or 4. Right, what did I say? Can't remember which album. 4. If it ends up 9 or 11, whatever. Right, my 4th one. Emperor Prometheus. Right, a lot of people say this is a load of shit. What a load of crap. Or it's Ishan's first solo album. Or something like that. I was really taken by a quote that I'd heard from one of them when they'd finished it, saying, we'll split the band up now. Why? He goes, well, we've recorded a perfect album and the only thing we could possibly do after recording Prometheus is to dilute it. So it's over. Which is funny because a lot of people didn't think it was a very good album. I do think it's a perfect album. I absolutely do. And one of those few albums that I've played to enjoy it and I've played to study it. You know, the multi layers that is on that album with all the orchestras, and he's got his heavy vocals and his King Diamond vocals, and it seems like there's like a guitar over here with a harmony to it, and then a guitar over there with a harmony to that, and then a weird bit there, and then a funny thing there, and then it's so overwhelming. It's almost like it doesn't want you to like it. It's like there's a bare minimum intelligence of musical intelligence that if you don't reach that, you're not going to be able to get it, which is very arrogant and annoying, and I like that. I think it's a wonderful album, and it changed what I did. Really made me want to like include stuff like orchestras, which is on not on Unrelaxed 1, but it's on Unrelaxed 2, and go for all the choirs and the complicated, hectic sort of stuff. I love it. Talk about it all day. Right, number 5. Right, okay, number 5 is different. It's not an album and it's not even a record. It's a performance at the Red Eye Islington, somewhere in middle 90s. Hard to Swallow, a band that later on went on for be included in other bands, more cooler. I'm not going to say who they are, because if you're cool, you know. You don't, you don't. But yeah, Hard to Swallow in London in the mid-90s. It was like everything that was good about every single genre of metal that I'd ever seen or heard of in a band. None of the crap. None of the poser stuff. None of the cock rock stuff. None of the always me grungy stuff. None of the crap. And it went from being grindcore to heavy Black Sabbath to Doom to punk to all of it, but not a mess. It was just somehow it was some sort of coherent experience, and that gave me a real kick in the ass. That really gave me a kick in the ass. I remember thinking, do you know what? There's always going to be a market for 4 or 5 folk mixing together what they like, the way they like it, for no one other than themselves, and then to play it in a wee room with 280,000% intensity. That's always going to work. Life-changing revelation. Okay, album number 6. Recently, right, okay, I don't know how to pronounce this. In my accent, Yorkshire accent, you would call it Mandelion, but I'm presuming it's Mandillion or something like that. First Gathering album that Annika sings on. To my absolute sins, I first properly heard that this year. And it's weird because I'm now going back in time to the 90s and re-understanding everything that's happened in terms of doom and gothic and heavy music in new ways. And of course, later on I did a lot of electronic stuff, which I do as well. So, yeah, wow. And Annika, you know, I am an atheist. There is no God. There's absolutely no God. But the only way to describe her vocals is God-given. So if there's one thing on this planet that would give me any sort of evidence that there is a God, it's the lack of verbal information, not verbal, the lack of my able to verbalize how good she is as a vocalist without saying the word God. And there you go. It changed how I sang. Unrelaxed 2. I'm heavily influenced by her vocals on it, and just the whole business of it. It's just like wow. What she's doing is just completely mad. It's completely mad, and it's so confident, and it's so mad, and it works so well. It's like going to the studio. What do you need to be mad and to be confident? There you go. Right. Number 6. Oh, I'm going to have a whole discography in here. Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush. Whole discography. Again, discovered them just over a year ago. And felt embarrassed. Like, he's probably my greatest guitar influence of all time. I've been playing guitar for 35 years now. And I've heard of Frank Marino for a year. And he's my favourite guitar player. Where have you been all my life? That's what I thought. It's like my whole life I've been striving to copy Frank Marino in what he does with his psychedelia and his jazz and his mixing all sort of things together that shouldn't go together, and just the wild, fucking aggressive, psychedelic, proto metal, all of it. I've been trying to do that my whole life, and I had no idea I was copying someone my whole life. I was blown away, you know. Really blown away. Good place to start is Tales from the Unexpected. It's half live, half not live, but don't listen to the Beatles cover on it. Don't listen to the Beatles ever. Certainly not a cover of it. Yeah, there we go. I'm running out of tracks, so I don't know how many I've done. I'm going to do 2 more and I'm finishing. Right. I want to do something cool. I want to say something really cool that's going to like name drop a pal or something like that. Yeah, okay. I'm going to name drop Ramage Inc. Ramage produced Unrelaxed and Unrelaxed 2. And that's really involving him in my solo work and taking my solo work beyond something that I've just sort of stuck online and actually try and make it my main stuff rather than I'm a guy who plays in a band who's done some solo work. I'm now a solo artist, and that was Ramage is singing on the track Feel the Waves. Like, he hits it so well. And I've been listening to it. I'm a little bit older than him, and I remember back in the day in the scene years ago when he was doing his first tentative gigs, and people said, "Oh, he's a great singer," and me going, "Yeah, he's pretty good." But me being the grade singer, you know. And then like a few years later, I was sort of couldn't be fucked with singing anymore, and so I'd play a bit more guitar and then do this and do that and have my own journey. But then hearing his first solo album coming out and just sitting down. Going, I should have fucking practiced more. I should have sung more. And I've played it so much. And the next one, Earthshaker, and that really changed things up. I sat down like, right, okay, so I got in touch with them. Right, I want you to produce the album. And a lot of folk were, Ramage and Tommy, that's not going to work. And it has worked so well. It's unbelievable. So I've already done 2 albums with him. Unrelaxed 2 is going to come out. It's already recorded. That'll come out next year. And on this here laptop here is a third one. Recorded it in 3 days. All the guitars. So that'll be maybe 2 or 3 years of messing with before that's out. But yeah, that'll be with Ramage again. It's I think we found something that works. Final album to change my life. Like completely change it. This is going to be this is going to be. I'm trying to think of a profound one, but I don't think I've got a profound one. I'm leaving it at that. Don't know how many that was. 3, 9, 10, 11. Well, that's it. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, what album? I don't know. Cheers. Thank you. That's that.